Welcome to the channel, guys. Today we're going to take a look at North Carolina's Uwharrie National Forest and see what these trails have to offer. So stay tuned, take some notes, and enjoy. Welcome to the very first part of Dickey Bell. It's a pretty easy trail going in, just a lot of these little terraces that divert water, so it's a bunch of up and downs, but for the most part, pretty easy trail. You'll see later on it gets a little bit more fun. Less than 10 minutes into the trail and you're going to come upon the very first hill climb. Now, as long as you stay close to this tree here on the driver's side, you can straddle this little section and you can make it in two-wheel drive, no problem whatsoever. Now, depending upon the weather, I think you can make this hill climb in two-wheel drive. Just be careful when it does rain because it gets slippery out there. At the top of the hill, you're going to round a corner and see a big mud puddle. Have a little fun and get a little dirty because down the other side of this mountain, it starts to get technical. As soon as you turn the corner at the top of the hill and start heading down, you'll see the technical parts that I'm talking about. Now, we're on 35-inch tall tires and in two-wheel drive. I think even a stock vehicle can make it with the right tire placement, and if you're worried, there is a bypass. As you get further down the hill, you can see that the obstacles are starting to get a little bit bigger. But take your time, tire placement. Now, Kat opted to go driver's side on this obstacle, which I thought was a bit brave of her, and that's totally okay. She needs the practice, and she likes the challenge. She's still in two-wheel drive, just using her brakes, and it's not a very steep hill, so you can do that. So once you've come off the mountain and you go through a little bit more trail, you're going to come to this little section here. Now, there is a bypass. It's off to the driver's side, and if you're really not feeling it, then take the bypass. It's completely understandable. The Cat is on 35s. We have them aired down to about 15 pounds of pressure, and she's got it in four-wheel drive, and she's getting a little more confident, which is good, but there is a couple of times in here where I actually did help spot her. But this is about what this is going to look like. You can see right there she kind of hit that rock and stopped, but she didn't scrape, and we didn't have any body damage or anything like that. It's not a terrible difficult obstacle. It's just wheel placement and throttle control, and you should be able to make it through just fine. Now, Dickey Bell has no shortages in obstacles, but there's one that definitely takes the cake. So we came up to this obstacle, and there just happened to be that rock buggy there in the back, just sitting around waiting, and we decided, we took a look at this, and we think we can do it. So we had Kat start in real nice and slow and easy. We picked out a nice path. We walked it before we drove it. Just get out and do those kinds of things. This is the hardest obstacle on Dickey Bell, and there is a bypass. It's over on the passenger side. It's to my left, and it's a very simple bypass. Take it. If you do not feel confident whatsoever, take the bypass. But with some good spotting and definitely some good driving, we were able to go ahead and do this just fine, and we only had, I think, one wheel lift during this whole thing, which you'll see here in a minute. We picked our way and winded down through this. It gets pretty steep. I was slipping and sliding everywhere just standing there. So trying to take a overlanding rig down it was a little bit more difficult. Now, As you can see here, in just a second we're going to have a nice little wheel lift, and we're going to be tucking real hard on that back driver's side wheel and on this front passenger, and Kat's going to end up turning back passenger right here, and she's going to get a little stuck and have to back up. Not a big deal. We were able to do it. She was able to get backwards and reposition that wheel and get down. She was a little bit nervous at this point, but for the most part the Jeep is staying nice and level. We've really got to hand it to those Terraflex shocks and the suspension. It held up quite well. That right there was actually probably the most difficult part of this entire obstacle. For the most part, just keep it in 4 low and use your brakes accordingly, and I think you'll make it down just fine. So as you can see here on the left, there's the bypass right there. It's pretty easy and simple to go down the bypass. You don't have to worry about doing the obstacle, which is a really nice benefit to Dickey Bell. I think that's why they rate it a 6 to 8. Now once you get past the bypass, however, there are going to be a few little rock steps right here. You're going to want to turn back to the driver's side in a minute. That way you don't go ahead and tip over. I've seen a lot of videos of guys, they get down in that crack right there in front of the driver's side wheel, and they end up tipping. So she's going to cut back towards the driver's side and stay nice and level the whole way. Well guys, that's the end of Dickey Bell. So I hope you guys like this video. Smash that like button, share, subscribe, get out there and enjoy this trail. They rated a 6 to 8. I'm rating it a 5 to 6 depending on which direction you guys go and what the weather conditions are like. But you can see for yourselves in the video, it's really not that hard, and if you definitely don't feel comfortable, just take the bypass. Until then, we'll see you guys out there.